authors, filmmakers, entertainment, and all your listening needs. Listen now to Talk Now Radio, where no topic is taboo.
Hello everyone, welcome to Talk Now Radio. This is your host, Royce the Redneck Radio Man, and joining me today is going to be Bret and Gina Oldham, and this is going to be Bret's third time with me, and Gina's second time with me, and he's the author of Children of the Greys. However, today he's not here to talk about his book, although I thought it would only be a courtesy to kind of, put it out there as a little plug, if nothing else, since he's helping us celebrate Halloween here. But today we're going to be talking about ghost stories, and he's going to share some of his things that he's encountered at Halo Productions, which is his paranormal investigation team or outfit. I'm not sure exactly what you'd want to call it. I'd let him correct me on that one, and I hope you don't get too upset if I got it wrong. But at any rate, I thought we could have a nice, interesting afternoon here and see where everything goes. So, Bret, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Royce. Appreciate you having Gina and I on, and we always enjoy coming on and talking about the different aspects of the spirit world. Now,
when y'all say spirit world, we're going to be referring to here as ghosts and specters and poltergeists, and there's ectoplasma and orbs, right?
Yeah, it's actually a lot more complex than a lot of people think it is, but there's a lot of different forms of, we call it forms of energy that people deal with and that show up in various ways to individuals and in locations and various even on land. Land can be haunted. So there's a lot of variety in there, and there's a lot of different the ways that spirits make themselves known, and we even believe that there's a difference between spirits and ghosts.
That's funny you should mention that, and I'm not trying to get too preachy on this here, but it's one of the things that really caught my attention when I was reading the Bible. Was you got the references to like the Holy Ghost, and then you got references to the Holy Spirit, and many people say they're interchangeable, but I often personally wonder if that's just assumed that they're interchangeable. I mean, why not just stick to one word? Just because you could interchange them don't necessarily mean that was the intent. And you know that there was places where it was stated that many people in the Bible gave up the ghost. So I'd be led to wonder if maybe the Bible will recognize the difference between spirit and ghost.
Well, we believe that the difference is like a spirit has passed on and progressed to where they're supposed to be. Whether you want to call it heaven or your perception of whatever that is for each individual's own religious beliefs, and God gives them free will to come and go, and they can come back to our plane of existence. A lot of examples of like when people are at graveyards, and we don't necessarily think graveyards are all that haunted. But what happens is a lot of times if you go to visit a loved one in the graveyard, you'll feel people will report that they feel their presence and things like that. And there's just a connection, a bond that you have when you're both living that they feel, and they have the free will to come from where they're at they will come and visit. I mean, people's picked up EVPs of loved ones at their tombstones and stuff like that. Whereas a ghost, we believe are the souls that are trapped. I mean, they haven't progressed to where they're supposed to be, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. It's a wide array. I mean, they don't realize they're dead. They got unfinished business. They got a strong attachment to a person, a place, or a thing. And a lot of times even a fear of punishment, going back to the religious beliefs, they might have the fear of being judged and if they believe in hell, being cast into hell, and they're just like, well, kind of one of those, I'll just stay here and play it safe things. But there's a lot of various reasons for ghosts, but many of them are just seeking help. I mean, they're not really trying to scare people per se. There are those entities out there that are doing that, but a lot of times some of the simple stuff that people have experienced, doors closing, lights coming on, being touched, and different things like that, is really just someone trying to get your attention for help.
Yeah, that really kind of makes you wonder. During the Dark Ages, when the Inquisitions was going on and all of that, these people were like tortured to death. Do you think these people are probably haunting the last known place they were alive where they were tortured to death at?
Well, anytime there's a heavy emotional thing, like we live in a lot of area, this the Civil War has left quite an imprint here, and we get report after report of soldiers and still being seen and that type of thing like that. We've actually captured EVPs, the soldiers still think the war is going on type thing. So when there's a strong emotional imprint left, usually there's a good case for a haunting there, just like what you're talking about. There would be there would be a likelihood of a haunting. Some of it's residual, where it's just left as an imprint in time that kind of plays in a loop over and over. But a lot of times, the soul of the person that was tortured and stuff, to die quickly or tragically does become a prime candidate for a haunting.
So how can you figure out when you're dealing with residual energy and when you're actually dealing with a ghost?
Well, kind of like if the report is of the same actions being taken over and over and over again, like somebody will talk about, like like a woman in white or whatever. You hear a lot of things like that, and the person or the entity is repeating the same thing over and over. That would be an indicator of something that's just residual. And even sometimes on EVPs, when you're just catching something that's almost like a moment in time, like we like to call it, it's not an intelligent. You're not having an intelligent conversation with something that's aware that you're there. That would be like a residual haunting.
Okay, so if you're in a situation where you're doing an EVP and you're having a conversation, even if it's not a real clear one, if you can determine that it's actually answering specific questions, then would be a good indicator that this is not residual energy?
Oh yeah, anytime there's intelligent interaction, you're dealing with something that's not residual. It's definitely something that's aware of your presence and wanting to interact with you. A lot of times they don't want to interact with you, but we find that they enjoy interacting in conversation among the living. Sometimes you can be doing an EVP session and directly talking to them and not getting anything, but you'll go over your audio evidence and find that they will be interacting in your conversation. The people that are present there, they'll kind of give their opinion of something or whatever you're talking about. It seems like they like to become a part of that a lot of times.
Okay, so you're talking about there are cases where, say, 3-4 people will be sitting around in a circle having a little powwow, and they won't know anything's going on, and then they'll have a recorder going, and then after they're through, next day sometime they turn this recorder on, and they pick up the EVPs in the background, didn't know it was going on while they were talking?
Yeah, that's happened to us many, many times. They like to interject into our conversations. And we don't realize it, a lot of times till the next day when we're going over the evidence.
Yeah, there was one particular case. We have an EVP where we were with Gina and another lady. We were outside, actually in somebody's driveway, and somebody said a joke or something, didn't they? And
yeah, we were talking, talking. Really weren't investigating at this point, and you hear a Southern male gentleman clearly say, "Can you all not hear me?" And, unfortunately you can hear us talking, so you have to listen underneath our voices, but it was quite clear. He was there, he was trying to communicate with us, and we didn't even realize it.
Uh-huh. So then by the time you did realize it, it was too late to go back and reopen the conversation?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we were home at that point. That's one of those times where a spirit or ghost was, really trying to communicate with us. And like I said, we didn't even realize it at the time. We were just talking, and this was before we had started doing any kind of investigation. And we find that a lot. We find that they'd like to interject into our conversations or, while we're talking, not always when we're directly asking them questions.
All right. Now, one of the things I did want to mention before I forget again is that you can learn more about Bret and Gina both by going to www.childrenofthegraves.com, which is also the title of his book. He also has a Facebook page that he'd love for you to go like it at www.facebook.com/ref =TN_TNMN looks like exclamation key /pages/Halo Productions /109198552436925, which y'all won't be remembering all that. But y'all can scroll down under the chat room in the description and click right on the link, which would have been a lot easier.
Actually, the link is just www.facebook.com /Halo Paranormal.
Really? Because when I put y'all's name, put the Halo Productions into the search engine, it takes me to this site, and I copied that right out of the address bar.
It's not Productions; it's Halo Paranormal.
Oh,
yeah.
Where did I get Productions?
That's probably where you got the mix up at. But yeah, it's just the / Halo Paranormal. We had a website for Halo Paranormal. We're not a big group. We just kind of go with that moniker. It's just Gina and I. We often investigate either by ourselves or we'll go with, we do have some regular people that we investigate with, in the Tennessee area here, but, we'll oftentimes get invited by other groups and, we'll go in Alabama and Kentucky and, we went up to Ohio before, Illinois and, anywhere within a decent drive anyway, depending on the situation. So we put the moniker up, the Halo Paranormal just to kind of make it easier for people to remember us, but
we're just a husband and wife team. Yeah,
we're just the two of us and that's it. And I also have for this time of year, it's a pretty good time of year, but I have another book out called Ghost Stories of Las Vegas, Royce, and
I forgot all about that. You told me about this the last time you were on.
Yeah, I lived in Las Vegas for 27 years and I decided it's just available in the Kindle version right now. And it's up on Amazon, as is Children of the Graves, but it's got some famous celebrity stories that happened in ghost hauntings in Las Vegas. And then I had because I lived there, I knew some of the local stories as well, and I put some of that stuff in that the general public doesn't really know about. And I put in where the locations were and things like that in case anybody's out there on vacation and wants to experience check out some of the ghost stuff as well. And some of it's right on the strip and easy to find places.
Okay, and I think it'd be good for people to order that book because it sounds like it'd be very interesting and it'd be kind of sort of like touring Las Vegas from your home. I also want to mention that they've got a YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/user /Halo Paranormal, which I got that one correct, I think.
Yeah. We put a lot of we do a lot of spirit box work as well, and we use our YouTube channel mostly to put up EVPs and spirit box EVPs that we get, and we'll make little videos of several examples of it. So it gives gives us a chance to be able to play several things. I mean, we've got thousands. So every now and then we'll put a little collection together. And last one we put up, we put some full voice EVPs that we got that were pretty good, and then some really great spirit box replies as well, and that even include a couple of what we don't know. There's no way to really know, but we had We had a funny Elvis one time, and then we got a really, really interesting one when we were attempting to make contact with Nikola Tesla.
Oh, wow. You know what, though? I was going to say it a few minutes ago, and I had forgot it, that there are two guys that will try and summon spirits to their homes rather than going out looking for them and get their EVPs right there in the house, and they record them.
Yeah, I mean, that actually happens to us quite a bit, especially when we do spirit box sessions here at home. Seems like the activity picks up in our home, a few days after a spirit box session. So, I mean, yeah, they're everywhere, and that definitely happens.
Yeah, I mean, we enjoy spirit box sessions these days as much, if not more, than actual investigations.
Well, have you noticed any extra ghostly activity around the Halloween season?
I don't know. With us, it's Halloween year round. You know? It's hard for us to distinguish if it gets any different. I mean, it really is. We just have, I mean, doing this full time, and we devote a lot of our time to the paranormal, and because we even investigate cryptoid stuff, and of course since the book came out, we deal with a lot of other abductees from all over the world. Has contacted us, but we still do a lot of the spirit communication. It is one of our most things that we're most interested in, and top things that we do, and especially with the spirit box. And there's 2 or 3 times a week we're doing our own sessions, just the two of us here at the house, and we've just collected some remarkable things. I mean, as much as we do it, and as time consuming as it is, it still just blows us away. I mean, there's stuff that comes in we're just amazed at.
I would pretty well imagine. I mean, if I had a spirit box, I could see where it could get pretty active and pretty amazing at times. But I don't do that kind of work, so it never does. Have you ever tried? Did you say a minute ago you'd try to get in contact with Elvis?
We did. We were doing a spirit box session at home, and we'd never attempted to contact a celebrity at that point, and we thought, what the hey, let's try it and see what happens. And we can't be 100% sure, of course, that it was Elvis, but it certainly sounded like him. And we always kind of make the joke that he had a lot of impersonators out there, and it looks like he has some in the spirit world as well. Could have some in the spirit world as well. Yeah,
I mean, you never know, because, but we always, we did a lot of stuff, it's sort of like being an electronic medium, really. That's what a lot of people are starting to call us. And because we will have people get a hold of us and ask us to help them, find closure, and that's really the important thing we try to do, is help people find, healing in it. It's not just for getting kicks and thrills and oh, did you hear that voice on the other side type thing. And so we will do sessions for people. You never know. We don't guarantee anything, but a lot of times it's very successful. We have a guide we actually work with and have for 2 or 3 years now, that comes to us 98% of the time and helps us to find these individuals. And we've found out all kinds of information, and a lot of times the people will recognize their loved one's voice. We did a case down in Alabama for a little girl that had passed when she was 14, and her mom was there with us, and asked her the girl was a big Harry Potter fan, and the mom had thought she had heard the little girl's voice and recognized it, and she says, I won't say her name to protect her privacy, but she said her name. He said, if this is really you, who was your favorite Harry Potter character? And it came back very clear in a young girl's voice and said Harry Potter. And of course, when they get validation like that, the tears usually start falling, but it gives comfort to them. And that's one of the main reasons that we do it. It's really helping both sides. I mean, it's helping those that passed, and knowing that they're not being as grieved for, because it's just the fear of the unknown, and people don't really know. You can have all the faith in the world, but you don't really know what happens until you experience it yourself. And And we did it for our own loved ones. I mean, Gina's dad passed a little over a year ago, and we waited a little bit, but he knew about the work we do, and we even we tried to get him, and we finally did. And it's emotional, so even for us sometimes it's emotional, but in the end you're very comforted by it, knowing that there is no such thing as death. It's just merely a transition.
Yeah, now, that was actually, believe it or not, from my perspective, a pretty scientific fact, just based on the fact that we're energy, at our core. I guess you would say a spirit is really more of a conscious type of energy rather than just a vibrational energy, in other words.
Yeah, and energy can't be destroyed. I mean, that's a scientific fact, so it has to go somewhere. And, when it comes down to it, the paranormal is really all about energy and dimensions. And if you strip all the other stuff down, it all plays into both of those things, in every regard, so, there's a dimensional aspect to it. I believe that that dimension really sort of overlaps with the dimension that we're in. They're able to see us. That's clear. And sometimes we're able to see them. I mean, we've had numerous incidents where we've had, and hundreds of millions of people throughout the world, have seen ghosts. So, and there's a lot of photographs out there. Unfortunately, nowadays, you got apps with fake ghost pictures, and it's really bad for the field in that regard. And that's another reason that we concentrate on EVPs and spirit box work, because we have some amazing photo evidence too, but every time you release it to the public, everybody's like, that's Photoshop and that kind of thing. And you gain nothing but lose your reputation and your integrity by putting stuff out like that. And it's certainly, people do that, but it's certainly nothing we would ever do. But we've been fortunate enough to capture several full body apparitions on film. But we've witnessed a whole lot of that, so it's just they're able to come into our dimension sometimes and gather that enough energy to present themselves, and that's the only difference. I think that's really the only thing that bothers us with the stuff that we get in our house a lot of times is it's really kind of funny, but it's like the privacy thing, it's like how much of your life, because I'll tell everybody, we say this all the time, and Gina said it earlier, it's like, there are ghosts everywhere. I mean, they are everywhere. It's not just some old castle or some old plantation house or, some creepy old place. They are everywhere. We have a friend of ours, Sandy Nichols. He has a very, very nice house. How old is Sandy's house? 7 or 8, 10 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
It's new. It's a very expensive home. Beautiful, beautiful place. And it's like ridiculously haunted. You would see this and you would never think in a million years that a place like that would be haunted. But, we've done a ton of stuff out there and captured all kinds of stuff. I witnessed a Civil War soldier, walk right across his den, one night when I was standing out by his pool. And he had a couple maids that also had seen the soldier that quit after they got so shook up by it that they saw it. But, they're everywhere. We've picked up stuff in places, just the most common places, stores and things like that. I mean, you'd never believe that so the spirit world is among us all around and everything. And I think that's the only thing that really bothers us. Like Gina said, a lot of times we bring stuff home and sometimes they come after the spirit box sessions. It seems like we sort of open up a portal, and we do our best to protect ourselves and to close it out. There is a procedure to do that. And if anybody is interested in spirit box work, please research it out first, because you can bring a heap of trouble on yourself if you don't. And, but, we just worry, like, how much of our private lives that they're actually observing,
How do you know, though, if you're really contacting the spirit of a dead person versus somebody, say, in a different dimension altogether, not a spiritual dimension so much as like another multiverse, a parallel universe, or, a time traveler you're in contact with across the vast distance of time. How do you know you're not doing that when you're doing these EVTs?
Well, we cannot say for sure. I mean, and I think you're right on. I think it could actually be both. The only validation for sure that we have is when we do contact loved ones for people, and the loved ones will say stuff that only they would know about, that we would have no idea.
It wouldn't be likely somebody in a different parallel universe would have had the same, unless they were the copy of you in the other universe, in other words.
Sure, we get really personal family matters. Sometimes, when people die and they're not always, leave with good terms with their family members. So, there's a lot of personal stuff that we pick up. And again, like I said, we would have no idea about that stuff. But when we, tell the family member this is what we caught, they validate it for us, and they're pretty shocked that, that we got information like that we would know nothing about. But I do think that, we're not sure exactly all the time who we're talking to. And I do believe, I believe Bret and I both believe it also can be dimensional.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And, to me, I think each case would need to be unique in itself. Now, also...
Yeah, absolutely, Royce. And that's what you got to go by. Each case is unique, and there's no set terms or parameters. You go into depending on the case, really.
Well, kind of like, say you were a detective walking fresh on a crime scene. Each one's unique in its own way. Yes, each one can share similarities, but they got to be treated as their own individual case. I'm pretty sure ghost hunting's the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I think that's with any aspect of the paranormal. Like Bret said, we don't just investigate, one aspect of it. For us, it's under all one big umbrella. So I think any type of investigation you're doing, you have to approach it like that.
Now, my wife was wanting to know if you guys could contact her mother.
Well, if she wants to, it helps when the people are present, but we'd be happy to try for her. If you want to, shoot us an email and at least give us, your wife's name. We don't necessarily. It helps to have the mother's name, because we actually ask our guide to try to find the people, and he has to have something to go by. And then, what she wanted to find out, if she had any questions, or if she just generally wanted a message from her, if there was any, that kind of, sometimes people just want to know that the other person's just existing somewhere. And sometimes there's actually family matters that they like to discuss, or they just, didn't get a chance to tell them that they loved them before they transition. Every case is different, but yeah, we'd be happy to give it a try. Like I said, we do these things 2 or 3 times a week. So, if you want to just shoot us, some basic info about it and what she wanted to make contact about, we'll be happy to try.
Okay. 2 or 3 times a week, that's kind of frequent, isn't it?
Yeah, we posted on Facebook. Yeah, we went up to a place called Octagon Hall in Kentucky. Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, and spoke in an event up there. They had a paranormal event with several speakers, and we did led a group and did some investigation up there, and it's just a really, really haunted location. We just started going over audio with that. In 33 minutes, we'd already picked up 14 EVPs, and we threw out another 4 or 5. And so we're looking forward to finishing that. But I think we went 2 weeks, and 10 out of the 14 nights, we spent the entire evening going over audio. Spirit box audio is a lot harder to go over than regular EVPs, because you kind of have to develop a knack for what to listen for. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, you're just picking up radio," and I tried it and it didn't work. And our whole thing is just because it didn't work for you doesn't mean it doesn't work. It does have a lot to do with the operator. We found in sessions that we've done, if if you have a lot of people that's sort of open to it and have a certain amount of psychic awareness, it increases the likelihood of what you're going to get. So that